really proud of what all of you have been doing. What you have done is really put the issue of our country's financial future up on the front burner for the country, and that is a very important public service to all the people of our country and our state. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am very fortunate to be the father, as you heard, of a son. We have a daughter on the way in the next few weeks, who is my son and daughter-to-be are fifth-generation Arizonans. And that is because my wife is a fourth-generation Arizonan. I am a first-generation American. My parents grew up behind the Iron Curtain in communist Czechoslovakia. And one of my mother's earliest memories, when she was very young, years right after World War II, was when her father, my grandfather, was put in jail. The crime was being a capitalist. And she remembers going to visit him and putting her hands through the bars of that communist prison as he was there just because he was a businessman. And so I grew up, when they came here, they were basically kicked out by the communists. I was born a few years later, and I grew up believing very strongly in the free market system, grew up believing very strongly in what an amazing country the United States of America is, and how much we have to treasure the freedoms that we have inherited, and how much we have to do to defend them. And that's what I have dedicated my life to doing. As you heard, I enrolled in the armed forces after 9/11, and have served there. Have served Arizona as an Arizona criminal prosecutor, focused on financial fraud, corporate crime, public corruption, home mortgage fraud, some of the big Ponzi schemes that we've seen. Illegal immigrant smuggling rings was one of the main people in state government that focused on prosecuting the illegal immigrant smuggling rings and went after those folks and did one of the first wiretaps on them and really worked hard to tackle that. And I saw my job as standing up for all the people out there who are playing by the rules every day. But the fact of the matter is, as all of us know, we have a state government that is out of control in terms of spending, in terms of its bureaucracy, and there's been too little done to go after that, too little done to try to make a difference there. All of the description of the job of the state treasurer that you heard from Will is true, but their job is more than that too. When you go home, or if you have something you can look up on the internet here, you can go to aztreasury.gov, Dean Martin's website, and up there on the front page it says the job of the treasurer is to be auditing all state government finances. And unfortunately that hasn't been happening. I'm not here to point fingers of blame. We need to do a better job there, because the treasurers have not been doing that, and that's a big part of what the treasurer needs to be doing. Looking at the waste, looking at the mismanagement, looking at bureaucracy that is way out of control, that is not representing the people, that is not answerable to the people, that is imposing its own will on us instead of empowering and giving individual citizens and individual community the ability to speak their own mind and make their own decisions. That's what our country is all about, and that's what it's been about going back to 1776. I think that's what it has to be about today, and the job of the state treasurer is to be a good fiduciary, a good watchdog over our money. But it's about being more than that too. It's also being the taxpayer's bulldog. It's the person who goes in there and goes after the waste and asks those tough questions and does those audits. Now, let's get something out on the table, and it won't be a surprise to everybody. I am a Democrat. And there are some of you, maybe not in this room, but there's some people out in the state who hear that and they say, okay, great, I'm voting for him for that reason. And I say thank you to those folks. I'll bet there's some people in this room who are thinking I'd rather stick a hot needle in my eye than ever vote for a Democrat. And I'll put you down as undecided. But there's some people who are probably where I am, which is I sometimes vote for a Democrat and sometimes vote for a Republican. And I'm a fiscal conservative before I'm a Democrat or a Republican. And if you're that kind of person, somebody who looks at the person running for the office and not just the party label, I hope that tonight you'll look me over and ask me the tough questions, and I hope I can earn your support. That's why we're here at the Tea Party and not at the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, because we know there's been fiscal irresponsibility in both parties. That's been true in Washington, D.C. That's been true in Arizona. We have to go after that. I hope that after we're done here tonight, you'll see that if you are first and foremost Republican, Mr. Ducey is your best bet as a candidate. But if you are first and foremost a fiscal conservative, I believe that I am the best candidate for you in this election and hope to earn your support. Thank you very much.